All right, I want to welcome on Jordan Baltimore, CEO, founder and CEO of New York Empire Baseball. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
We're here at LeagueApps NextUp event 2025. Feels like I'm seeing more 26 around. You have some recent news about a capital raise and expanding into other sports, but why don't you go into your background, founding New York Empire Baseball? It's a really interesting story, and then we'll kind of get to where you're at today and where you guys are going.
I appreciate it. About 17 years ago, woke up one morning and wanted to get in a great workout and had a passion for baseball and watched my own dad help build the baseball fields that I played on when I was a kid, and reached out to a youth organization and with an offer to rake their baseball fields on Sunday mornings. A few days later, I got an email asking for me to come in for an interview. Didn't have much in the way of raking experience, but went in for the interview, and after about 2 hours, they said, "You'd be perfect to manage our 8U travel team." And I had never coached kids before, aside from being a junior counselor in a day camp once. I had a great time doing that, but didn't think I was heading into coaching baseball. I told them they probably had it wrong, but I'd go to a practice and see how it went. And 2 weeks later, I was the manager of an 8U travel team, and roughly 2 years later, I launched New York Empire Baseball.
Fast forward 15 years. You guys are huge in this area. Talk about what you guys have, what you do, and how big. How many athletes do you service?
So there's over 1,000 kids in the program here in Manhattan, 64 teams. We have after-school classes, camps, training classes, lessons, a rec ball league called the Club League, which is a pretty special experience for kids for almost all ages and skill levels, and then travel teams and other competitive programs.
What are the challenges like in a city like New York where space is at a premium for baseball? I know you guys have a large facility. Do you do more indoor compared to maybe other areas of the country that have more green space to play in?
We do everything we can to find fields, and I think partially because we're so active in the community and we have so many children in the program, we find a way to put them all on baseball fields as best we can. We typically, interestingly enough, leave the indoor facility empty when we know it's going to rain especially. We don't look for space rentals, so we kind of approach it a little differently. We want to make sure it's an incredible and inspiring experience for children and families. So instead of renting out the space and then on rain days telling people to stay home, we bring them indoors. So there's never a cancellation. In 10 years of being in our current facility, we've never had a cancellation.
What do you guys have in the facility? So you guys just won't have it booked if you expect rain or whatever, like it's just blank.
I mean, typically we don't book it when we have outdoor programs at all. So what do we have going on in there? Nothing. While our teams are on the field, whether it's rec ball, travel ball, whatever it is, we want to know that there's a fallback so that no one ever gets canceled.
I know you guys have an interesting philosophy about how you approach the game. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into where you guys are going next.
For us, the entire organization is built on the concept of process over outcome. Right, and we think about things in a framework of inputs, outputs, and outcomes. And what makes baseball so very difficult is not what everybody says, which is it's a game of failure. That's not what makes it difficult. What makes it difficult is that you cannot control the outcome. So you have a great swing, you hit the ball harder than you've ever hit it, and the center fielder catches it, and the box score says you failed. We would say you succeeded. So the way we approach instruction and training and development is from how do we make the inputs and how do we make your work ethic the best it can be. Because look, baseball's a skill sport. The better you are, the more fun it is, and that's relatively unique. Maybe golf is very similar in that way. If you're not good, it's not that much fun. The same is true for baseball, only there's also a risk, right? If you're standing at third base and you don't know how to field a ground ball, it's scary. Nobody wants to play a game that's scary. So our approach is to individually and uniquely focus on every age and skill level to improve their gameplay and improve the experience.
You guys recently took on some capital to expand that philosophy into other sports. Talk about that process and why now is the time that's right to go beyond baseball.
And look, it's not only beyond baseball. I mean, we want to do, when we think about the world, we think about it in terms of, or the future of our world, in terms of breadth, depth, and geography. Breadth, how do we take our culture, our values, our approach to other sports? Look, we spent 15 years not going into other sports because we felt that our organization was built partially on what we say culture, content, and coaching. If we don't have the proper content and we don't feel strongly about our ability to teach that content, we don't just move into another sport because we have the relationship with a family. So the opportunity to build or buy and move into other sports with our platform, with our culture, with our values was meaningful, and I think the opportunity is there for that. But also in terms of depth and geography, what more can we be doing within baseball and softball that would be meaningful to continue to enhance the experience and inspire players? And in terms of geography, every time we've piloted our program in other cities, it's met with some fantastic response. And we know there are some like-minded operators out there throughout the country, and we've approached them, and we'll be building out Rise partners in that platform across the country with like-minded and similarly cultured organizations.
You guys prefer to buy or build?
Both. So it's going to be a hybrid model of organic and inorganic growth.
Okay. And then I'm assuming the answer here is both as well, but do you prefer to expand baseball's footprint or be able to expand through other sports?
No, it's definitely both. I mean, look, baseball is near and dear to my heart, but the culture and values and the inspiration and the experience that we've provided, at that point, if we have the expertise, the sport becomes the medium for making and inspiring children on and off the field.
How do you handle the branding for New York Empire?
That's a great question. If there's an existing brand, I'll give you an example. If we find an operator who we love and they love us and the combined resources make sense and they have a great reputation built on their character in another market, we are not rebranding them. There's no reason to. For new locations here in New York and nearby where the brand means something to people, we'll absolutely continue to maintain the brand, but ultimately everyone will fall under the umbrella of RISE Partners, and RISE is short for Relentlessly Inspiring Sports Experiences.
What are the sports you're targeting?
I mean, look, at the outset, I think volleyball, lacrosse, basketball, they all make sense to us, among others.
Why is now the time right to take on capital? Is that something you were seeking out or something that came to you? I mean, this is a market that lots of investors across the stack are interested in.
Sure.
Why now for you guys?
So look, we were genuinely at an inflection point in our organization's growth. We see the demand. We can't keep up with the demand. It's a great problem to have, but it's only a great problem to have if you can solve it. So when we thought about what we needed to grow, we weren't actually looking for capital. If we were going to take on outside capital, it was going to have to come with intellectual horsepower and resources that we couldn't provide on our own to grow and scale. And scale was more important to us than growth. We knew how to grow. Scale means we can do more of what we do more efficiently. And that meant to me that if the right partner came along, we would consider something. And when Shore Capital approached us, their focus wasn't on our financial statements. Their focus was on our culture, and they are obsessed with their own culture the way we are with ours, and the overlap in those cultures and the values was 100%. So it became a no-brainer for us to move forward.
It seems you guys have it figured out. I mean, a lot of money's coming into the space and think it's like kind of those instant 10x, 100x tech type returns. But you know maybe as well as anybody what it takes to coach and develop athletes, and I always call it like the ground game that's needed in youth sports. Talk about why that's important and why maybe some people coming into the space think it might be easier to just scale and grow a huge business that, if they're coming from a software background, doesn't always apply to sports.
I mean, look, in our case, and I'll speak very specifically about our organization, we try to individualize every experience. And is individualization as scalable as this mass market approach? Absolutely not. So from our vantage point, if you want to genuinely inspire every individual player and every individual team, that's not as scalable as the software approach, right? Build once, sell many times. Are there pieces that can be scalable? Sure. Can you scale the culture and the platform? Absolutely. But ultimately, the reason why we're taking the approach we are, which is to partner with great operators, is because we genuinely understand that the real investment needs to be made in the operators, not in the property and the plant and the machines, because that won't actually, it's not where the rubber meets the road, and that's where anyone coming into this industry thinking about scaling will fail if they're not investing in the coaching staff.
How much do you use tech and AI to help individualize and scale that individualized culture you guys have, process you guys have?
We've always invested heavily in two things: research and training, and technology to go out and scale the experience. So every day we're using it more and more. Most of our tools are homegrown. We've built them internally because it was the most genuine way of connecting with our families, with our players. Certainly with just how quickly AI is being adopted and how accessible it is, we're exploring it every day as to how it can continue to enhance the experience, but maybe not replace the human element.
We're at LeagueApps NextUp. I know you guys work with LeagueApps. Why don't you shout out your partner here, and what do you like working with them?
I'll tell you, I think many people know this about me and about LeagueApps, and Jeremy often says, I was a LeagueApps fan before I was a partner. I was very intrigued by their approach, again, culturally. Their approach was to raise all the boats and then have the software be a vehicle for helping people to succeed in this industry. So the fact that they're out every day looking to make the experience for children and families better met so well with us that even before we were using their software, we were a fan of what they did.
The last one, what's the end goal, 3, 5, 10 years, where you want to be with RISE and Empire?
I mean, it's going to sound very simple. When people think about the best experience, the most inspiring experience for young athletes, I want the first name in their mind to be RISE.
Awesome. Good spot to end it. Jordan, thanks for joining.
Thank you.